What's going on, guys? RBG here, bringing you an update on Transformers Online, or Transformers Rise as it was later reported to be the working title name of this game. Every now and then I get comments asking about the current state of this project on any TF related video that I do, so today I'm going to do my best to bring you guys up to speed. But before we do that, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video. If you've ever wanted to shop online and find the best deals without having any second thoughts on if it's legit or not, then look no further than Slick Deals. It's the 8th largest shopping destination in the US with more than 1 billion annual visits. All the deals are curated from people like you within the community, so you only see offers that have been upvoted by real shoppers, making it the most trustworthy deal sharing community dedicated to sharing, rating, and reviewing deals and coupons. One of the most awesome things about using this site is the fact that it links me to the best deals on items and directs me to the site they're being sold on. But if you're one of those shoppers who likes all their benefits available on any online shopping platform as opposed to just slickdeals.net, then you're in luck, because Slick Deals offers a browser extension. After enabling the plugin, you'll notice the signature icon appear that instantly notifies you of the best deals going on the shopping site. On top of that, the extension applies the latest coupon codes to save you the most money on every purchase when you check out online. So let's go ahead and get started on purchasing some products for some awesome deals. You can do so by clicking the link that'll be provided at the top of this video's description box. But yeah, some of you guys have been very adamant about getting more news on Transformers Rise, because if we're going to be honest, it's gone relatively cold in terms of updates. Like, it's kind of been an on and off journey where we're hyped about this game and then we forget, and then we're suddenly reminded again because of the lack of Transformers games on home consoles. For the past couple of years there have been murmurings about this particular project regarding its premise and if it'll even see the light of day. Hasbro and Certain Affinity have yet to say a single word about it or confirm that it's being worked on, and rightfully so. Many fans who were once hyped about TF Rise are now deeming the project dead. But there was hope that it was indeed alive based on rumors from TFW 2005. It was reported that it was still in active development, but the team who started on Transformers Rise had moved on to other projects. And this led to two conclusions, right? The game was close to completion and the staff was scaled down since it didn't require a lot of manpower, or a Certain Affinity just couldn't get the project off the ground and ultimately canceled it to work on other things. Whatever the case is, it just feels like a console-based Transformers title isn't a main priority at the moment. If anything, it seems like Hasbro has decided to focus more on the mobile gaming market, which is doing quite well with all the cross promotions. And that's something a lot of companies are doing nowadays. Like, they're shifting their focus towards that particular platform because they feel that's where the future of gaming lies. And while there is some truth to that, I still feel like there's more than enough room for both platforms. Like, you don't see Nintendo halting their home console production to focus on games like Pokemon Go. They just experiment here and there, but they still maintain the thing that made them successful. But yeah, the fandom has been yearning for a AAA title on the same caliber as the Cybertron games. Two titles that predate this console generation by 2 last-gen consoles. It may not seem like it's been that long, but the Cybertron games came out on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. And then you have Devastation that dates back 1 console generation. So it's going on a decade now since we've seen a big TF game reveal. If you remember my last update, I mentioned how there could possibly be some internal issues going on with the publisher of the Transformers Rise game. There was this popular gaming journalist by the name of Josh Yee that reported that the game might not ever see the light of day due to poor management. And then there was this big buyout of the company that was even making the game. Silver Optimus, who's one of the managers on the TFW 2005 account, said, and I quote, "The final years of Leiyu hunting for a buyout deal and the ensuing chaos have left a bad taste in the mouth of many who joined Leiyu to create games based on famous intellectual properties such as Lord of the Rings and Transformers. It's dashed the hopes of many who joined the company to create games. It went from having one of the best hands in the gaming business to nothing but another satellite studio for Tencent. It was a place that a PC and console gamer dreamt of working." So from the sound of this, there seems to be some mismanaging with the Transformers gaming license. It seems like Tencent's acquisition of Leiyu pretty much disrupted a lot of things, which included this upcoming title. Since Tencent has absorbed Leiyu, multiple people have come out and said that the overall at the company has now led to multiple canceled projects. And in return, this has kind of led to breach of contracts and deals from other partners. There was one ex-Leiyu employee who said that people who did not care about games wound up in charge. It was more interested in dressing itself up for a sale, and they did so by buying famous IPs with which they never intended to go through. So sadly, the Transformers gaming license may once again be held by yet another company that buys companies and constantly interferes with its creative process. If you guys aren't aware, this is the same company that published the Chinese MMO first-person shooting game that was also titled Transformers Online. If you were one of the lucky ones like me, you probably got a chance to experience the beta, but if you weren't, then you'll never get a chance to experience the game at all because it never got out of that beta phase and was cancelled after a few months. And knowing this history just evokes fear that we may never see what this project is or was. The last bit of details that gave it little hope that this thing was even still alive and in active development was when a video game art direction company called Black Steam put out a direct tweet to Certain Affinity. And in that said tweet, it featured the Transformers hashtag, but that tweet was shortly deleted and reposted without the hashtag. I'm not sure if this was a mistake made on the company's part or if Certain Affinity told them to get rid of that tweet, which confirmed that they had indeed canned Transformers Rise. Whatever the case was, it lowered my expectations about this game ever seeing the light of day and that we might not ever see a new TF game anytime soon. But those expectations didn't completely die out though, because back in January, one of the moderators from TFW 2005 did mention that there was a project that was indeed in the works, but it might not be the same as the one that's under Tencent and Certain Affinity. Initially, I assumed that Transformers Rise was going to be tied to Transformers Rise of the Beast since they have similar names, and that might still be the case, but according to Silver Optimus, there's another game that'll most definitely be a movie tie-in title. He says, and I quote, "Alright, a happy news after a while. I found out that there is a new Transformers game in active development right now. Hasbro is directly involved. This is all I know, but I do not know if it's this game. It could be this game, it could not be. My assumption is that it is not this game. There is a slight inclination that the game in active development is for the movie, but that is just based on the sliver of vague info I got. So as you hear it looks like we're gonna be getting a new TF game regardless of what studio it's attached to, which is awesome news. Like, I think I speak for all my fans when I say that it's high time that we got something for the consoles, because as I've stated, it's been a long drought and we really need something that takes us back to the days of the Cybertron games. At least give us next gen ports of TF games from the past. I know there are a lot of fans out there who would love to have an HD version of the PS2 Transformers Armada game. Like, I'm just spitballing things at this point, but I digress. While this is good news that there is a game coming out in the not too distant future, it sorta has me worried because at the end of the day, this is a movie tie-in game. And those type of games tend to be dead on arrival because of the lack of time the devs have to make them. Since they're directly tied to a movie, they have to work in tandem with the movie's production, and that ultimately leads to a very tight deadline, which ultimately leads to an incomplete game. And unfortunately, there have been a slew of TF games that have fallen victim to this, one of the most notorious in recent games being Rise of the Darkspark. Of course, there have been a few exceptions such as Dark of the Moon, which served as an awesome prequel to this movie counterpart, but you could tell that it wasn't left in the development oven long enough to produce a phenomenal experience. Something else to keep in mind is that T3 the game was made by the same team that gave us the Cybertron games, which is why it was a decent movie tie-in to begin with, but they're no longer making Transformers games, so Hasbro has to find a competent development team that can at least make a decent game that ties in with the Transformers Rise of the Beast movie. If I were to take a wild guess on when we will receive an official announcement on this game, it would be right after the first reveal trailer for the movie, which will probably be during the holidays, so yeah. But anyways guys, I want to know your thoughts on this news. Do you think the Transformers Rise game has been shelved? And what are your thoughts on this movie tie-in game? Let me know in the comments below. As always, I ask you like or dislike the video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, it can be a thumbs down. But if you really enjoyed this video, it would help me out tremendously if you shared it with all your friends and followers on different social media outlets. Sharing is caring. But once again, this is your boy RBG signing out on another video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.